Okay. Hopefully we're there. Looks like we're there. All right. I'll just wait. Actually, I need my glasses. If you're new, I nap in the second hour. It's a 2-hour live stream. I'll nap at the beginning of the second hour, so you can take a break and come back if you like. I'll just wait. I usually don't have these live streams on Saturday night, but I wasn't able to make it yesterday. So, hey, Roy's here. Hello, hello. I need to check some messages. Ken is here. Hey, good to see you. I just uploaded a video of my first obsidian point. Cool. Tommy Taylor's here. Ken is here. Jesse, Mike Tubbs, Keith, Kiefers made it. Jim Cooper, you had your surgery Wednesday. Awesome. And you're here. Is everything cool? Did you see my community post? Said Ken. Asks Ken. Yeah, I think I did. Jim Main is here. Hello. All right, let me see. Let me look at the community for a second. Oh, yeah. Jim Cooper. Looks like he's okay. Yeah. He says hello. Hello, hello. Okay, there's Ken's post. Made my first obsidian point today. I just wanted to share with you. I recorded the process. Awesome. Uploaded it to my channel with a fiddle tune in the intro, pumping out glass points too, making some great progress lately. Thanks to all your advice and Mike Tuff's tools. Sweet. So he made his first obsidian point. Yeah. What else we got? We got some glass stuff, I think. Yeah. So this is in the community. And I heard that YouTube was going to start allowing us to post 10 things in the posts instead of just 5. Jim says he's recovering. I have a wound vacuum until next Wednesday when another 3 weeks. And then another 3 weeks with no weight on the right leg. Eich. So you're going to be in bed pretty much. Fordo Joe and Bushy's here. Hey, Bushy, look what happened to that piece of Wonder Stone you gave me. It got whittled down to very small, and then I snapped it, trying to get it thin. Well, without step fractures. I was doing it, but I didn't quite get there. I couldn't eliminate the step fractures off of it. Once it starts getting thin, it's not the thin flakes break up, causing step fractures. So they messed it up. I messed it up. So, but I'm going to put this in the Brooks and bifaces so people can see how crackly the Wonderstone is. Bill Taylor says hello, everybody. Ken says I'm very proud of myself and the progress I made. It's been about 2 months. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Only 2 months. Fordo Joe or Bushy says I can't even tell you how great a time I had. Yeah, it was fun over there in Letchworth. Yeah, it was cool. And I got to see Paleo Man 52. I got to make sure that I'm still subscribed to him. YouTube's been kicking people off the subscriptions. Let's see. Ken is Paleo Man 52. His name is Ken. Kenny, they call him. Let me see. I mean, I subscribed a long time ago to his channel. He makes this kind of stuff. Let's see. I see 2 Daltons. All right.
This video is in response to someone who offered up the challenge to
Here's
show the
Dalton.
top 5 things you've made or chipped out. And after much thinking about it and a lot of searching through my keepers, I came up with these 5 things right here as far as chipped items go. I got a lot of other things.
So he's been around at the Letchworth Knappings from the beginning. Yeah. And him and his Knapping, I guess, that he hosted way back in the day, became the Letchworth Knappings. Jim Cooper says, I use a putter to walk around when I have to. I see. Yeah, it was good. I have a feeling Bushy and I are going to be seeing each other quite often this fall. I'm going to go visit. Yeah. Ken says, question, do you have any videos using the Nachomatic? Yeah. Just type in that Jack Crafty Nachomatic because I think I have it in the title of one of the videos, at least. I got a bunch of videos with the Nachomatic. Mike Tuff says, there's been a disturbance in the Flintknapping force, Sal. Sal has been snapping too. Sal is in the house? Let's see. Or no, you're just saying that he did. Okay. Keith or Kiefers says, I worked a fog point today. It looked good until I broke an ear off while notching. There you go. That's what happens. Roy says, it happens more often than you think, Patrick. At least for me, when thinning the biface. Does it happen like that with you? Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about snapping. Let's see. Let's go back to a previous question or comment. Not sure exactly what you're referring to, but yeah. Let's see. I can't read some of this stuff. I don't know what's going on. Sal is making 5 tails, says Mike. Dovetails? Sal is making dovetails. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so ask the questions in the first hour. The first hour is nothing but chat. I start napping in the second hour, and I'm going to be napping some Aesopus, right? Or is it Coshocton? It's probably Coshocton, not Aesopus. Aesopus. I've been trying to remember how to pronounce Aesopus, Chert. This is Coshocton. I'll be napping this one, this chunker. But that's not until the next hour. Yeah, so take a break, take a nap, come back if you like. Bushy asks me, what time did you get home? I got home today. I got home around, I don't know, 11, between 10:30 11 p.m. last night. I did go to sleep right away. Yeah, it only took me an hour to go to sleep after I got home. And I slept okay, but I'm worthless today. I tried napping some Wonderstone and I've snapped it. I shouldn't have snapped this. This was because I got worn out. I don't know from what. The drive wasn't that bad. It's like 6 hours with the GPS, but with the stops, it's another hour. 7 hours. It's not a bad drive. I mean, I've driven 12 hours in one day and felt better than I felt today. So I don't know what hit me. Let's see. Mike Tuff says, I got my Crafty Napper t-shirt in the mail yesterday. It's awesome. I got the what in the wide world of Flintknapping is going on here. Cool. Awesome. I'm glad you got the shirt. Yeah. So also, before I start napping, I would like to have at least one super chat. And I'm not going to start napping until the top of the next hour. right? Until 9 p.m. Eastern. Mike Tuff says, Patrick, have you ever thought of hosting a nap-in? Yeah, I've actually hosted a couple nap-ins. Just local stuff. Yeah, I hosted a nap-in at my house one time. A lot of people showed up, but they didn't want to do it at my house again. I have no at the time we were doing remodeling, so no one can use my bathroom at that time. And the only good parking spaces were in the alleyway behind my house, so no one wanted to do that either. They didn't want to park in the alley, and I had no public bathroom. And the other time I was at a park, and a couple guys showed up. But I said, yeah, I'm going to be there at such and such a park. We can just do a nap-in. So they showed up. But that's it. Nap-ins usually start at someone's house and then grows and grows. And then once you get like more than 10 people show up, you try to have a bigger venue. And then when vendors show up, that doubles the amount of people there. Jesse says, driving always wipes me out for some reason. Yeah, something wiped me out because, well, when I got to Letchworth, I got there the night before. I stayed at a rest area overnight. I didn't stay at Letchworth to camp overnight, but I felt sick that night to my stomach, like I ate something wrong. Maybe it was road food, convenience store food. I don't know. Anyway, I felt sick that night. Didn't get much sleep. And then I did some napping, though, at the napping. But when I got home last night, I just conked out quick. And then this morning, I woke up and I wasn't good for anything. Tried to go back to sleep. I did go back to sleep for a little while. Woke up, didn't feel any better. So maybe it was something I ate. But I can't figure it out. I didn't cheat. Like, I didn't buy candy bars or anything. Sometimes when I'm on the road, I'll buy something I'm not supposed to eat. Like I'll have a coffee with lots of cream and sugar, or I'll buy maybe a maple candy, or something like that. But I didn't do that this time, so I don't know what it was. I don't know. Maybe someone gave me a bug. Ken says maybe I should do a shirt with a t-shirt with a skunk on it. Maybe. A little kid came up today and asked me if the skunk was friendly. Or no, he says, "Is he nice?" I said, "Yeah, but you can't pet him because he'll still spray you." And he goes, "Oh," takes off. Yeah, he came into the yard just to take a closer look. And I don't know, he might have thrown a stick or something at the skunk because I saw a stick right here where they usually are eating the cat food. So, don't mess with the skunks because they will still spray. They're nice otherwise. Yeah, you just don't mess with them and they'll be nice. They'll even come right up to you and want some granola bars. Get them hooked on granola bars. Let's see. Roy says, I don't get much sleep from my years of service in the military. I've got almost 27 years as an infantry soldier. Patrick, honestly, I typically get about 2 to 2.5 hours of sleep every night. Oh, dang. Yeah, I was thinking about that. How do people do it without sleep? You must operate at 50% of capacity every day. And it's fine if your job only requires 50%. But the way I like to live, I like operating at 100%. Yeah. I can survive operating at 50% capacity. But I did that for years and it wears on you over time way too fast. Yeah. It wears you down way too fast physically. Yeah. I used to look young for my age, and now I don't anymore. I look older for my age in many cases. Some days, especially when I'm losing weight, I look really old to me at least. And I think it had to do a lot with stress by not getting enough sleep. Sleep deprivation is a terrible thing. Ferdo Joe says, I know what happened. Driving in New York did it. We get sick every time. I see the news here. Yeah. Take creatine. Yeah, I got creatine. I take creatine. Yeah. I do now, yeah. I wasn't taking creatine until maybe 6 months ago. Graylin is here. Hello, hello. Yeah, and I can't operate less than 100% because I do Flintknapping. I try to do everything in the last couple of days of the week just before the auction. As far as my Flintknapping that I sell, and I had to be 100% for that. And the side projects I'm trying to catch up with, I'm almost done. Yeah. So hopefully before I want to try to get everything done really soon. I don't know about before the end of this month, but hopefully by the end of next month, because then I don't want to have anything lingering anymore, because that stresses me out too. Roy says, yes, thank you, my friend Patrick. That's that they want you to be alert for upcoming operations or missions. I see. Ron is here. Hello, Napper. Howdy, Nappers. Yeah, so we got to see some nappers. I'm trying to count in my head how many nappers were there. There were about 10 people who could flint nap, at least at Letchworth. Not everyone was flint napping though. There were at least 10 guys, maybe 12, that I could tell that were nappers. Ferdo Joe says, hey, Pat, the wife says you look great and in shape. Unlike me, I need to lose about 20. Well, thanks. I'm glad someone thinks I look all right. I think I look old and crotchety. Jim Cooper, my night in the hospital was terrible. Mild sleep apnea meant my oxygen would dip too low and the alarm would go off. So I'd have to wake up and take a bunch of deep breaths and get oxygen back up. Ron says, yeah, those monitors at the hospital are a pain. Yeah. Ed Gould says, active chat this evening. I might just watch. Well, then, good. I might just read your comments. Ed, yeah. If you're not entertained, don't watch. I'm not expecting anyone to watch if they're not entertained. Yeah, I found out that people watch because they say a lot of times they watch to get educated, but most of the time people are watching for a performance of some sort or because they have an emotional need. It's emotions and performance and the presentation. Those three things. It's not education or proficiency or just pure information. Yeah. They don't watch that. I watch channels and I subscribe, or I also I follow people on Instagram that are information based. They have very low views, but the information is great. And that's including the weather and stuff like what the background is for hurricanes and what causes them and what causes this kind of weather and that kind of weather. The information channels, if they're not presented in a flashy way, very little views, but excellent information. That's what happens on a lot of the channels that I follow. Not many views, but the information is excellent. And the ones that have tons of views, millions of views, they're just, like golf clap. Yay. You accomplished a very good presentation, but what else is there? And there was a performance in there. You flicked some flakes and did some opening of the stone. Okay, yeah, good little performance there, but what substance is there? Not much at all. Except if you think about it, they're very good at editing. So your editing performance, yeah, you get a little clap for that too. But the substance of the video itself, on those ones that get tons of views. Now, I do want to get more views. Yeah. It feels like if I got more views, it would feel like I'm using my time wisely or more wisely than I am. But it's not breaking my heart. It's just confusing why some people get views mainly on performance and presentation and not substance and not education. Yeah. But people say they watch the stuff for education. They don't watch it for entertainment. That's what they say. Let's see. What are we doing here in the comments when I was ranting? Talking to each other, yeah. Mike Mason says, I propose some people watch as a stand-in for performing physical activities as a group. Yeah. That's a quick way to bond to people and something less frequent in modern society. Just a theory, though. I don't know. When I first got online and I first started interacting on forums and stuff, I found out that certain people actually immediately get attached in almost like an addiction, like smoking crack, I suppose. Addicted to online activity and chat. It's an addiction where it's somehow they're getting some sort of feedback that they need. So they're on their computers every waking minute. Or if they're not on the computer, they're on their phone. They're doing something online, either watching or posting all day long, every minute. And they actually start living online and they become acclimated to online life. And you can tell who they are just by the way that they type in their responses. I call them denizens, internet denizens. Denizens. I have other names too, but the denizen is the nice one. So they live online 16 hours a day if they get 8 hours of sleep. If they only get 4 hours of sleep, they're online 20 hours a day. I know people like that. And I had to leave certain forums because of those people. They just developed this weird culture, and then they feed off of their disgust in a lot of cases. Sometimes they're contributing something positive, which is rare. Usually they get around and they discuss what the topic of disgust is. So they discuss the disgust. And if I wanted to join, I would have to discuss the disgust as well. I don't want that. But there is humor in making fun of certain things. I try to keep it humorous because you can start diving into toxicity and go down that rabbit hole online. And a lot of people live down there. You have to look. They're way down there at the bottom of the toxic pit of despair. They go, hey, there are people way down there, down at the bottom. Whoa. And there's a lot of them too. The bottomless pit doesn't get more narrow as it goes down. The bottomless pit gets really wide as it goes down. And there's a lot of people down there. Yeah. Roy says, the whole idea of napping, I love watching and practicing the art of napping. Well, I am glad you do. Yes. It encourages everybody else. Yeah. When people actually love every aspect. You know me, I don't love every aspect of napping, but it's better than a lot of other things that I could be doing. There's some things that would make more money, but they're not as, how should I say, they're not as interesting as napping Yeah, I do find napping quite interesting. Not always entertaining or not always fun, but very interesting. Bushy says I need a lot more practice with the moose billet, but I think I can. It can be done after watching Ken do it. Maybe. Yeah, believe it or not, the more I look into this, the more I do research on how people learn. It's just practice. You don't have to. You don't have to know anything. Yeah, in the beginning, if someone teaches you one on one and shows you how to do what's right, corrects what's wrong, you can progress faster. But you would get there anyway with just practice. You'll figure it out. If if something's not wrong with your thinking process, either your fault or not your fault, if something's not wrong there, then you'll just pick it up with practice. You don't need to know anything. Nothing. You can be deaf and partially blind and still nap. You don't you know what I mean? You don't need outside input. You just need a basic idea of what you want to do, and the brain starts taking over all functions as you practice and practice and practice and practice. Yeah. I've seen guys with very poor eyesight in their old age, I'm getting there too, that make beautiful points. And they're doing it with under that handicap. They can't see that well. They don't travel very much because of either disability or finances, and they still make beautiful points. So they just practice a lot. Roy says, if it's not fun, you're just getting frustrated with the greater outcome. The greater outcome gives you confidence. If it's not fun, then you're just getting frustrated with the greater outcomes give you confidence. All right. Mike says, be careful staring into the abyss because it will stare back. Yeah. I've heard that expression before. That's a weird one. Uh, yeah, these people that live at the bottom, they haven't hit the bottom yet. So they're kind of they're treading water in the lake at the abyss. But once they start drowning in that lake and they hit the bottom, they'll go, okay, I can't be down here. I can't breathe. So they got it. First they have to start treading water again, and then they have to start climbing out. It's a long way out. Yes, it is. How do I know? I don't know. That reminds me. I need to put a sign up. I'm gonna change the sign. I'm gonna change the sign to something like, how do I know? I don't know. Right? I have that one. Let's see. I do have that one. Yeah. How do I know I have that one? I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna put this one on. Oh yeah, I figured out how I'm gonna cook the pumpkin and eat the pumpkin. I've been eating zucchini. Maybe that's what's making my stomach sick. That could be it. I've been eating zucchini, summer squash, and cucumbers from my neighbor. He's got a bunch, and I'm sitting there going, man, he grew a lot of stuff this year, and sure enough, he leaves a bag of zucchini, cucumbers, and squash on my door. Oh boy, that might be making me sick. I hate to admit it, but maybe that's it. Dang it. I don't like it when I get sick with eating plants or sick from eating plants. But I get sick from eating plants. Yeah. My back stopped itching, so it was the tomatoes that made my back itch. I was eating salsa for about a week, and my back was itching like crazy. So there's something in the salsa, and now my stomach is feeling kind of bad, draining my energy. It might be the zucchinis, cucumbers, and summer squash. Dang it! I like them. Hey, $5 super chat. The comment is skunk and napping fund. Thank you. Jim Maine, thank you. I will definitely use it for that. Yes. That's a regular expense of mine. I like feeding the skunkers. Oh yeah, I'm gonna paint these. as soon as I finish all my back orders, I'm going to start doing other stuff. Like I'm going to paint my little miniatures. I'm going to ask Small Zilla maybe to make a few more. I need little dumbhead squirrels. Hopefully they'll be to scale with these guys. I need a squirrel in here too, and then a fox. But the fox is going to be bigger. I want the fox to be to scale with these guys, so it'll be as long as this sign probably. The fox. We have 2 or 3 gray foxes that come around at night too, and I've noticed that when the skunks congregate in large numbers, that the fox says, "Hey, what are they after? What are they looking at?" So the fox is pretty smart in trying to figure out what the skunks are going after. Let's see here. Jim Cooper says, I'm here to talk about Patrick's love of overshot technologies or his obsessive need to know exactly what a stone is called to nap it properly. You are funny. You are very funny. Inside jokes. If you're new, you're not going to get it. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you the inside jokes. You just got to figure that out over time. Someone will tell you. Jesse says, I have some videos, however, that weren't anything close. I have seen some videos that weren't anything close to Flintknapping. Yeah. Well, I watch videos that have nothing to do with Flintknapping too. But I also look at the ones that have lots of views and say, what is up with this? Is this an amazing insight? Is this something new in the world of Flintknapping? What in the wide world of Flintknapping? It's just an edited video for kindergartners. And he's cutting up tomatoes. That's it. And he's just talking about stuff. He's talking about stuff he made for the souvenir shop. What is this? 500,000 views in 2 days? You know, that kind of thing. It's not for education. People are not watching it to be educated. I don't think. Unless they got kindergarten education, they want first grade education. Maybe one step up from kindergarten. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Let's see. Ed Gould says, Obsidian always takes me by surprise and always leaves me bleeding. Well, there you go. Welcome. Red-Eyed Patriot is here. Okay, I'm falling behind in the chat. You watch out. Red-Eyed Patriot, his name is Michael. He's going to be watching the chat. Make sure there's no Fruit Loops or Goober Heads. Ferdo Joe says, I ran some good flakes with it, but I did snap a few. I had a good time. Didn't care because I went past my limits with it. Yeah, Bushy was napping with a new moose billet, little one that he got from Ken, Paleo Man 52. And he was doing well. Yeah. Smacking some flakes off those bifaces like he knew what he was doing. Let's see. Jesse says, then there's a very small elite group that seems to do everything right. What do they have in common? They nap thousands of points. Just need practice, like Pat says. Yeah. There are some guys that nap constantly every day. I think we were talking about Zalman at the Nap-In. Excellent napper. Produces some amazing work. I don't think he's been doing it all that long. It looks like he does napping every day. Yeah. He's got to do this kind of work that fast because I haven't seen him around for that long. Roy says, I'm not great at English, so I'm saying that when you do accomplish a great point or points, then it builds your confidence in the art. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't read it right. I tried to. If you make a mistake in the typos and stuff, I try to not repeat the typo. But I didn't get that one right. Drew's Concrete is here. I get flakes stuck in between my fingers. Oh, dang, that's not good. You must really be napping like a crazy madman. Ed Gould says, under the nails always sucks too. Yeah, those. I don't get those anymore as much as I used to. I used to get flakes under my fingernails, and not from picking at it, but just from having my fingers too close to the work. I try to back off a little bit. You learn over time how far back you keep your fingers from the edge when you're napping. Okay, so Michael says there's no Fruit Loops or fussy buckets. Yeah. Fussy britches. Yeah. Good. Jesse says it was 115 degrees in the desert driving back home to Phoenix. Yuck. Dang it. You have AC, right? Ed Gould says, years ago I made a 10-inch blade of tank stone and gave it to a friend. He died and his relatives were calling and asking if I cared if they took it. I think they had broken it in half and making it glued it back together, if I remember. I see. Ken says, dang it, I had to re-upload my video and now the views are not going up. Yep, that happens. Roy says, that's something that happens when you're making small points with me. Mike Mason says, Mike is going to make me miss Sev. Oh, yeah. They're in the process of updating the AI tools that I'm using. So I think Seb's going to start looking different now. They started doing away with their previous AI generator. So now I think she's going to start looking a little different. So I'm going to hold off here and see what else I can try to animate. I can animate anything that I draw, and I'm going, wait a second. If I draw a picture of something, anything, I can animate that. I can make that image talk. So I can draw pictures of all kinds of stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a little animal or if it's a face or it could be an object with a face in it. It's we used to call it CGI, but now it's called AI. It's still CGI, but now CGI is accessible to everybody. You can make CGI images and you can make cartoons. The thing is, I've got to work with it a little bit more to see if it'll do the hand movements on stuff that I draw. Because I know it does the face. Anything that I draw that has a face, it animates the face and I can put a voice to it. That's cool. But as far as the movements of the hands and arms and stuff, I got to see if that works. Because then I can make animated cartoon-like things. Why am I doing that? Because it's something else I want to do. Yeah, I can't only do Flintknapping. Now, if I could make them Flintnap, that's an interesting concept, but I would have to be able to program in all that stuff. It won't know how to make the right movements just by prompting. Ed says, years ago I made it. Okay, I read that one already. Let me go to the end of the chat. If you have a question, please ask before 9 p.m. Eastern, because at that time I'll be ignoring the chat. Mike Mason says, Ken, I heard you should never take down a video, even a flawed one. Yeah. That kind of is true. If you start taking down videos, YouTube doesn't like it. It likes all content, no matter if it's cruddy or good. It just wants content because it wants to show the bottom line. See, we have more content than every single planet in the universe. See, except for this dude who keeps taking down his videos, but we won't talk about that. New day is here. Glad to see Flintknapping. Yeah, well, I haven't started Flintknapping yet. I will at the top of the hour. And when I'm going to be filming my other videos, my normal videos, I'm going to be doing the no talk for everything, and I'll post those, and then I'll narrate the ones I want to narrate. I'm not going to narrate all of them. just the ones I want to narrate. And some people are probably thinking I'm going to narrate all the ones I post. No, just the ones that I feel like I should, like I'm up to it, or I see an opportunity for instructions on this particular video because there's a clear presentation. I will narrate the ones that I want to narrate. Yeah, but not every single one of them. Ken says, yes, I should have left it up. I already deleted it because it was too quiet. Boosted the audio and re-uploaded. Okay. Mike Tuff says, the last video I uploaded took a little over 2 hours. Yeah, sometimes connections are pretty bad. Like my connection now is pretty good. I can upload an hour video in about 15 minutes. That's the fastest I've ever had it upload ever. And the neighbors just got the same internet service that I'm on, and it didn't slow anything down. And a short video uploads in about 15 seconds. One of those shorts. Yeah, you just type it in, and by the time I got the title, what am I going to call it? It's already uploaded. So it's like 15 seconds. It's really, really fast here, which I'm very glad. I remember when I first started visiting my dad a few years ago, the internet here was terrible. I couldn't even get bars on my phone to make, to make calls sometimes. But definitely couldn't upload very fast. I had to go to the public library just to get a reasonable upload speed. And the upload speed was about the same as the length of the video. So if it's a 30-minute video, it would take 30 minutes to upload at the library. New Day says, I did do surveys in National Forest out west. I work for an archaeologist. Cool. Very cool. Mike Mason says, I watched it today, Mike. One of my comments got stuck somewhere else in the wide, wide world of YouTube. Michael says, hope you enjoyed your time at the Knapping, Patrick. Yeah. Red-Eyed Patriot asked me if I enjoyed my time. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I'll be going back. They have little nap-ins in the winter. I didn't know this. But you can go and nap all winter over there with other guys. You can just drop in and say, hey, how's it going? Mike Mason says, any moves on your bow or setup, Pat, or is it still a plan yet to manifest? No, I've got materials and I've got the space. I cleared the space. I've got my bow stuff. I can make bows without all this setup, but I'd rather have a setup because it's much better in terms of answering questions. Normally, how I make a bow is just by feel, and I'll bend it over my knee and not use a bow tree with all these markings on it and with the scale that tells me exactly what the poundage pull and everything is. The way I normally make bows is just by hand with no scales, no measurements, nothing. And I'll bend it over my knee to check the tiller. I'll just put it on my knee. Which way am I facing here? And I'll pull it back and I'll judge the tiller by hand, by feel. And I'll look in the mirror when I'm drawing the bow for the final tillering with a string. And I'll look and I'll just do it by eyeballing it. And sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes one limb bends more than the other. But as long as it shoots, I'm satisfied with it. But with a bow tree, it's like doing flake over grind knapping. Everything is precise. Everything is predictable. Everything is made to spec. So I need to be able to do that because I've got a couple of those. I have more than a couple of those kinds of bows. I have to put the poundage on the bow. I've got to make sure I use the chronograph with the arrows to give them the arrow speed and that kind of thing. Everything has to be precise. So I had to set that up. I can make a bow without anything except a knife and a hatchet. and a string. But that's not the kind of bow they want. I understand that. But yeah, I'm about 70% set up for making that kind of bow. And those are the kind of bows that people want to see on video. Yeah. They don't want to see these survival bows that are not perfect. No. New Day says, I found a couple of historic sites, many prehistoric sites. Awesome. Danny Moore says, I got a white oak bow knee tillered. Got it to make a tiller. I got to make a tiller stand. Yeah, tiller stand. I call them a bow tree. There's different names for the setup to put your bow up on something and draw it down with a weight scale to get the poundage, and also to check the tiller, make sure, where are my fingers? Make sure that one limb is not bending more than the other, and you've got like a grid set up, drawn on the back of your bow tree or your bow stand or whatever they want to call it, so that you've got everything measured out just right as you're tillering it, so it looks like a professional job. It's got to look right. Yep. Mike Mason says, I'm bringing wood rasps to mine. I couldn't find a farrier's rasp. A farrier's rasp, are you talking about bows or using a rasp to dress the Flintknapping tools, the antlers and stuff? Danny Moore says, hi, I made it. Danny Moore says, I've got my white oak bow. Okay, I read that one. Jesse says, Pat and guys, thanks for the tips wrapping the friction points at the tips and knock point on my sisal rope cordage. Oh, okay. Sisal rope cordage bowstring. The sisal is a bit brittle in bending, but tensile strength is pulling great. Yeah, when I make a bowstring from sisal twine, the loops for the ends are made of cotton. I make mine out of cotton if you want something natural. The loops themselves are not sisal. I cheat and use a cotton polyester blend for the loops. You know, as I'm twisting the bowstring, I'll put the cotton on the ends, so because sisal does not handle friction very well, or being bent a lot, and that happens a lot at the loops. Let's see here. Ken asks, have you guys ever tried grinding screwdrivers into flakers and notchers? I feel like a small Phillips sharpener with a file could work. Yeah, of course. Use screwdrivers for pressure flakers. They work well. They don't work perfect because copper works better than the steel that the screwdriver is made from. Actually, the cheaper the screwdriver steel, or the cheaper the screwdriver, the better it naps because it's softer metal. You can use ice picks also for notching and for flaking. Ice pick steel is not bad. Danny Moore says, Mike, I got my horseshoe rasp at Northern Tools. Yep, that's a good place. I did that work for 12 years, says New Day. I'm assuming you mean archaeology type stuff. Jesse says, PJK, watch Patrick's first videos. Very nice points with pliers and screwdrivers. Yeah, but not all those original points were made with pliers and screwdrivers. Keep in mind, I've got an old video with a lot of points that I made. I had graduated to other tools by that time. Yeah, one of my early videos has a lot of my early work that I filmed my collection at that time. I had a bunch of points, over 80 arrowheads or whatever in that particular video series or that video. But I didn't use only screwdriver and pliers for those. No. I use a little bit more advanced tool set for those. Roy says, you're testing it the way my grandfather said to make it functional for the longbow to work effectively. Yeah. See, the type of bows I need to be making for a couple of people are the type that you can go buy an arrow at the store and it'll shoot well out of the bow. Okay? Without having to guess. All right, now what spine do I get this dumb arrow for this dumb bow? Because it's not made to specs. So he has to end up buying 5 arrows of different arrow weights or spine weights and then go back home and see which arrow works for his bow and then go back to the store and buy more of that type of arrow. Yeah. I got to get the arrow speed up above 150 feet per second, right? 150 feet per second or better on the bows that I need to be making. But after that, I'm just going to make whatever. Yeah. I don't care. If I make a bow for myself, I can just use a branch from a tree, and I don't even have to tiller it, basically. As long as it bends in a D shape, I'll shoot an arrow. The arrows are the stuff that require a lot of work, for me anyway. That's where you need to put your work into the arrows themselves. The bow can just be a stick with a string, basically. Just a branch with a string. And yes, you can make a bow out of a branch that starts real thick and then gets real thin. Because it'll still bend in a D shape. You just got to hold it in a weird way. Well, see, there's 2 ways of shooting: instinctively, and then I don't know what the precise way of shooting it is. I'll just say precise and instinctive. Instinctive, you're just throwing the arrow with the bow. You're throwing the arrow basically with the bow. You're not really aiming with the type of aiming like a firearm type of aiming that a lot of people, when they shoot archery, it's like shooting a gun. Same principle for everything. Same cheek well, same sights, same type of sights. You even got crosshairs on some of these bows, or you've got your pin on the side of the bow, and you're sighting and holding and releasing just like triggers. Okay? Your breathing is the same. You're controlling your breathing. It's like shooting a firearm. These guys are shooting bows like they're shooting firearms. Whereas back in the day, everyone shot their bows instinctively, which means you're just throwing the arrow, much like throwing a stone with a sling or throwing a stone with your arm. There's no aiming. There's no special breathing. It's just shot after shot after shot. There's something like a bug back there. Just keep shooting and shooting and shooting, and instinctively you'll know how the arrow flies and you know how to throw the arrow. Same with throwing a rock or throwing anything else, a spear or whatever. Hold on here. Let me check something. I hear something making noises back here. Yeah, I know what it was. I had the slow cooker on high and it should have been on low. Yeah, okay, I'm going to start napping here in a little bit. All right, so I've got to put my good luck apron on. Yeah, I have my slow cooker going. I usually turn everything off when I do a live stream, but I forgot. And I got some zucchini in with my chicken because I love putting vegetables in with the chicken or whatever meat that I'm using for my soup. But I got a feeling it's making my stomach sick. Dang it. All right. And it's also, I feel more flab coming back. I can gain 5 pounds a week easy. And I think I'm on the track of gaining again. Okay, so you're talking about where to get tools. Oh, that reminds me, you're talking about ocean spray. If any of you guys are using ocean spray and you have some extras that you can send to me, I'll pay for shipping or whatever. I need ocean spray shafts or anything from the West Coast. Anything and everything from the West Coast as far as arrow woods. I've got somebody that wants to experiment with various arrow woods from the West Coast. I used to have ocean spray. I used to have sparkleberry. I used to have another type of wood. It wasn't willow. It was something. I don't remember. Anyways, I'm looking for more wood from the West Coast. Arrow wood shoots like ocean spray. New day, you just reminded me. So maybe I could get some shafts from you. Danny Moore says Harbor Freight has Farrier's rasps on their website. Okay. I have a Farrier's rasp. I don't like it. Sorry to say. I mean, I would suggest going into the store and look at it for yourself and see if it's going to work for you. All the Farrier's rasp does for you is give you a bigger surface area. Are you really needing a huge surface area for your rasp? Maybe. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Harbor Freight. Talking about Harbor Freight, that's one of my favorite places. Let's see here. Keith or Kiefer says, fellas, I'm tapping out. I'm so tired, but I'll watch this tomorrow. Not sure if it's my connection or the sound and live stream keeps stalling for some reason. It might be on your end because sometimes I can see if it's stalling when I'm watching. I can see myself in the live stream. It hasn't glitched tonight as far as I can tell. Mike Mason says, Pat, do you eat mushrooms? No, I stay away from all mushrooms. They make my tongue feel numb. Not all of them, but I just, on the safe side, I don't eat any mushrooms. And nothing as far as teas made with mushrooms or anything like that. None of it. JF Baird is here. Hello, hello. Ken says, have you guys ever seen napped labradorite? I have a couple of 2-inch square slabs I want to try. Doesn't sound familiar to me. Jim Cooper says, if there's no hurry, I can probably hook you up. Jim Cooper, if you can get some West Coast arrow shoots, that'd be awesome. There's no hurry. I just need to have a supply so I can give information out. I don't know how ocean spray is. I used to have some, but I think I got rid of it because it was too wonky. I threw out 80% of the arrow shaft materials I used to have saved up in my old house. Before I moved up here to Vermont, I said, I'm not going to ever have time to straighten these out. They are so wonky. I'm never going to sit down and straighten these out. So I just threw them all out. Dozens of different types. So yeah, if you could hook me up with some of that West Coast arrow shoot material, yeah, that'd be awesome. Danny Moore says, I'm really loving the Pedernales. I have a 5-gallon bucket full of really nice balls. Well, there you go. Just try not to do it all in one day. Mike Tuff says, Danny, I need to get some of that material I worked at one time, and I really liked it. All righty. Mike Mason says, Pat, my comment about the rasp was for bow making. I wanted the Farrier for aggressive wood removal. Just use a hatchet for, a wood carver's hatchet for aggressive wood removal, or a scraper, or if you have like a little, what they call, shaving horse, you get one of those draw knives and a shaving horse. I never really used rasps in bow making, but that's just me. Ed Gould says, yeah, they throw away a lot of those rasps, a lot of those files, and they don't use them very long. Yeah, Mike Mason, get a spoke shave and forget about the rasp. Yeah, spoke shaves, draw knives, carving hatchets, even the scrapers, I prefer over a rasp any day. Danny Moore says it leaves deep gouges. Yeah, that too. The rasp will leave deep gouges. Ocean spray is very abundant in Southwest Oregon. Arrowwood, says New Day. Yeah, if I can get some of that from you, just send me an email if you would, if you're interested in sending me any. My email is jackcrafty2@gmail.com. It's on my profile for YouTube. All right, so it's 9:00. Let me get caught up with the chat, and then I'm gonna start napping. Spoke shave is a mini draw knife. Yes, they work pretty good. They're for shaving spokes on wheels. Traditionally, it works good on bows. Draw knives they ain't easy to find. They are now. They weren't easy to find 10 years ago, but they're easy to find these days. Draw knives are easy to find these days. Just if you're locked into trying to find stuff only on certain sites, you don't limit yourself. Go everywhere looking for the draw knives. Sometimes you can get antique draw knives on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. You can find all kinds of old tools on Facebook Marketplace. Don't limit yourself. There's a lot of ways you can find stuff other than Amazon and Google. Mike Tufts, do you sell rocks? Asked Ken. I've been thinking about buying some online in the U.S. if I can't find it here. Perry Ghost Ken is not in the U.S. apparently. Did I know this? Oh, you're in Canada probably. Yeah, there's not very many people that ship into Canada as far as rock sellers go. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Mike Tuff says if you're removing a lot of wood from the inside of the bow, let's say more than an inch or so, you cut down a 1/4 inch from your line and make them about 6 inches segments. If I have that much to remove from my bow, like let's say even a 1/2 inch, I use my bandsaw. I'll just trim a 1/4 inch off the belly or a 1/2 inch off the belly with my bandsaw if I need to remove that much. Or you can do it with, if you just want to use primitive tools, you just hack it away with a little hatchet. Now, some people will say, no, you can't do it that way because it's risky. I'm a flint knapper. I like risk. Let's see. Yeah, there's ways to carve the belly of the bow out with traditional hand tools. But yeah, if I need to, I'll just preliminary shape the bow to floor tiller with my bandsaw. Yeah, I'll bandsaw it to the shape that I know it's going to floor tiller pretty well. I'm already to that stage where I kind of know how much wood to remove. I usually make 4 bows at a time, and I pick the best one to sell. And the other ones, I don't know. The other ones usually just, one of them gets tossed out maybe because it's just no good. It'll start cracking or bending weird. And then the other 2 might sell to somebody else or keep them. But I usually make 4 bows for each project. Mike Mason says, bandsaw, you say? Best I can do is an unhappy caged beaver. You don't have a bandsaw? You can buy one for cheap these days. Well, relatively so. I don't know. If you don't have $5 to your name, then yeah, it's going to be hard. I don't know what part of the country you live in, but here I can go and I can get free tools if I want. I can walk around and on a Saturday, there's yard sales. There's even free stuff people put out, and there's lots of tools. And an $8 hatchet at Harbor Freight, $8 can get you there. Just go to Harbor Freight and look for the tools. Dwayne Griffin is here. Patrick, I decided to take a break from cleaning the garage. I'll pick up where I left off next weekend. Good. Awesome. Ed Gould says, I got some discs for my angle grinder for the fast wood removal. Yeah, I use a circular sander to do my sanding work on bows. I don't know what you call those. It's not an angle grinder. It's the sander equivalent. It's a spinning wheel on the sander. You just attach the it's either a Velcro attachment of the sandpaper, or you have to unscrew the whole thing and attach the pad, sanding pad, and it spins. I forget what you call those. I use that for wood removal too, with like a 40 to 80 grit sanding disc. Good. All right. So I'm going to be good. You're talking about exchanging materials and stuff. I'm going to start napping and I won't be able to look at the chat. Okay. So here we go. Let me start napping. I'm going to be doing the Esopus chert from New York or from wherever. No, it's Coshocton. Never mind. I keep getting that wrong. For some reason, I can't say Coshocton when I want to say Coshocton. Good thing he wrote that on there. It's still the same thing. It's a northeast type of stone, northeast United States. All right, let me get this camera set up. All righty, I'm in my house. Okay, so I'm messing it up every time I nap. In case you're curious, where is he napping? It's a nice shop. It's not my shop. It's my house. Yeah, I gotta do something about this backdrop. It's just primer paint on a wall right now. I gotta put a better backdrop in here. Something more primitive. All right, so I got some boppers I can use. Where's my glasses? Come on. Luckily, my camera's no longer on my computer. I'm using my phone camera. I just knocked the heck out of my computer. Okay, so it's a nice, perfect, and wonderful chunk of stone. Everyone likes to work with this shape. I know it's dark color, but what can I do? I got to make do with what I got. Dark color is not going to show up very well for a Flintknapping video. But oh well. This Coshocton actually naps pretty good. I napped another piece last time, didn't I? This one's got some craciola. Got some craciola pudding in it. Oh well. So yeah, this is a Flintknapping channel. Yeah, I'm gonna do some Flintknapping. This Coshocton is good. Yeah. There's some. He said there's some Kanawha black in there too. So I'm gonna nap some Kanawha black, not tonight, but eventually. I'm gonna go through that box and nap whatever's in that box. Let's see. I'm still feeling my stomach's still weird, right? These little discomforts do interfere with the Flintknapping slightly. How do they interfere? They just make you lazy. You don't feel like, getting into the zone. It requires too much energy. The stomach is going, stop using energy. I'm dying over here. You're using lots of energy. Don't do it. Makes me feel more sicker. Yeah, I know. But what can you do? Can't do much. So, what am I doing now? I'm trying to get rid of turtlebacks and all kinds of weird stuff. This will make a nice arrowhead. There's lumps and there's all kinds of stupid stuff going on with these chunker pieces. Why don't you talk in the right way, dude? You need to be more specifical. Chunkers and stupid spots? What is that, dude? Man, you need to get more technical. You need to get more specifical and talk like you know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. I don't do it because it's not that important. Basically, all I need to do is say, get yourself some tools and start practicing. End of story. Next channel. Switch the channel or push, next. Scroll, swipe, do whatever. Because Flintknapping's got 2 rules. Get some stones and tools and start practicing. That's it. Yeah, but what about eye protection? What about dust? What about the space, the shop? I know people that don't nap with eye protection at all. They don't care about the dust. And they'll nap on their front porch where people are coming and going. Just get your tools and your stone and start practicing. Then, okay, that's it. Scroll. Just keep scrolling. I can explain Flintknapping in 3 seconds. For those of you who are in the community on this channel, you can stay. Yeah. There's a community, believe it or not. Yeah. And it's awesome. Yep. Mm-hmm. And you need to stay for a little while if you want to get these inside jokes. If you don't get them now and you want to, if you feeling left out, just hang around a little bit longer and you'll figure it out. Yeah. Yeah. And I got lots of videos if you want to watch Flintknapping videos. If you can tolerate my chit chat. Not everyone can tolerate my chit chat. Yeah. Not even I like my chit chat. I don't like listening to myself. But apparently, it is beneficial to some people, so I'm glad about that. The Flintknapping videos that I've done, they have helped people, so I'm glad about that. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's good. All right, so what is this going to be? Well, the first impressions, it's going to be a triangular piece. But it's going to be snap and halfish I can tell already, unfortunately. But if I'm careful and keep it thick, like I'm keeping it pretty thick, I'm not really womping on it a lot to take off huge pieces. I'm getting mostly crud flakes because I'm trying to maximize it. See, I'm getting mostly crud flakes that I can't use for anything else. I'm trying to maximize everything, the width, the length. Okay. That's what I mean by maximizing it. Trying to get the biggest biface I can. So I can't be taking off really big flakes and risking breaking the whole thing and or knocking off a big portion. I'm going to try to maximize it. I found over the years that that's what people want to see. They want to see how to maximize this stuff. First and foremost, if I buy rocks, I want to know how to maximize it. None of this other stuff matters to me because I spend my moolah. Yeah, okay. I understand it. I get it. Mm-hmm. All right. 3/8 inch diameter copper rod. I don't know the alloy. Just get one and start practicing. The mind will take over. If it's a hard copper alloy, your mind will adjust. You'll start learning how to knap with a hard copper alloy. If it's a soft copper alloy, your mind will adjust to knapping with a soft copper alloy. Pure copper is very soft, I think, right? You can get pure copper and start knapping with it, and your mind will adjust. And you'll get good at knapping with 100% copper. I can go on and on and on. If you want to know exactly what I'm using, I don't know exactly what I'm using. I can tell you the link where to buy this copper, and then you can ask them, and they'll go, I don't know either. I just sell it, dude. I just buy it from China and sell it. That's what they're going to tell you in many cases. Just heads up, don't get all bent out of shape. If that's what they tell you, and you ask them, well, is it the same every time? I don't know, dude. I just buy it from China. They don't know. They don't know either. Yes, too many questions are going to go. Where are you living? You live in Cincinnati. I don't ship to Cincinnati no more. I forgot to tell you. No. You start asking too many questions, they're going to stop. They're going to remember that they're not shipping there anymore. I remember now, dude. You got lucky the first time, but I don't ship to Cincinnati no more. Just remember, asking questions couldn't hurt, right? Yeah. Some of the worst advice I've ever gotten. Couldn't hurt to ask. Oh, yeah? Well, how old are you? You haven't asked many questions in that case. I've gotten very hurt by asking stuff. Oh, yeah. There's many ways to get hurt from the wrong kind of questions to the wrong kind of people. Yeah. What are you talking about? Don't worry about it. Someone else will explain it to you if you don't know yet. What does that got to do with Flintknapping, dude? Just do the Flintknapping and shut up. I want you to leave if you're going to be fussy. No one says that. What are you talking about? Everyone wants to please everyone on their YouTube channels except you. Yeah. I don't want to please everybody on the channel that watches the channel. If you're a fuss bucket, I don't want you watching. No. No. I don't care. I will say that. Maybe I should preface it by saying unpopular opinion. If you're a fuss bucket, I'll see you later. Unpopular opinion. Did I lose anybody? I still got 33. Man, you insult your audience and you check, you see if you lost people? Yeah, I check and see. I want to see how many fuss buckets are watching. Yeah. Yeah. Supposed to be just talking educationary, dude. Dude, just talk education like. Don't be yapping about other stuff. I can't help it. I told you already. If I were to describe Flintknapping, I'd take 3 seconds. Just get yourself some stone and some tools to start practicing. All right, next question. Yeah, but what about all the subtleties and all those little things that you're talking about? And what are the tweaks? I want to know the tweaks because the tweaks are making me crazy. Those are the things you learn over time. You got to practice to learn the tweaks. You're just tweaking it. You're not doing anything wrong. You just got to do the same thing over and over and over again until you get better results. And you got to tweak it little by little. Yeah, but I always get broken stuff. All I make is broken stuff. Welcome to what everybody started doing when they started. Everyone's making broken stuff when they started. Yeah, but I've been starting for 2 years. Okay, well, how long do you practice every week? I don't know. You mean you don't want to admit that you only practice 1 hour a week? Shut up. I'm just saying. Yeah. I've heard it many times. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I've been napping for a long time. Not as long as I found out. Not as long as Paleo Man 52. He's been napping for a long time. And one of the guys I met, Eric's Rocks, the guy that owns Eric's Rocks, Eric. He's been napping for 40 years. And he was telling me about nap-ins in Texas that I'd never heard of. And he says, "Oh yeah, I haven't been in one of those nap-ins in 30 years. Yeah, they used to have one in yada yada and one over here." Well, dang it, man. How far do you go back? I've been napping 40 years. Eric from Eric's Rocks has been napping or whatever, for decades. I can almost say that I've been napping for decades. I think 4 more years, and it'll be 2 decades for me, right? Because 16 years, I think I've been napping 16 years. In 4 more years, I can say I've been napping for decades, but it's only going to be 2 decades. Some of these guys have 2 more decades on top of that ahead of me. How did I get into that conversation? I don't know. One of you fuss buckets. Dude, there's nobody talking to you. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. It's the way it goes. It's one of those things on this channel. I've heard so many different things from so many different people that I can just go down memory lane, and I know the questions. I know the attitudes. I know the problems. I know that all the well, not all. I know many of the frustrations that new guys go through. I try to make it easier for you when watching if you're watching the videos, but apparently I don't always make it easier. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. I'm having a difficult time thinning this now because it's getting a little bit too narrow. Yeah. I'm thinning it from the tip, but it was very, very chunky, and for some reason the edges are crushing more than I thought they were going to crush. I've got bad crushings going on right there. So that's a bummer. That really took out a lot from this edge right there. So I'm going to have to lose some length, or I'm going to have to get lucky and remove some of those turtle bags without breaking this thing. I don't know how I'm going to remove that much mass. Yeah, see, I lose a lot of edge on this material. The edges crush and crumble and waste away fast with the abrader too. The edges are delicate. Yep. It naps well though. I just wish that I could figure out or get adjusted quick enough to this material to figure out how to thin it in a better way, other than just torturing the edges. But I can't hit on delicate spots. They've got to be very robust, or those flakes just don't travel because the edge crushes. So I've got to make sure the edge is very strong, which removes a lot of the edge. Because I got to remove the weak spots, and it's very weak. It didn't do it. It didn't do it. It will not. I can't get away with it. I'm trying to remove big flakes from weak edges. It doesn't do it. Well, sometimes I get lucky, like right there. You can't see because it's too far away, but I'm trying to remove big flakes from very weak edges, or by using weak edges. It's dicey. And a new guy is not going to be able to do it. So there's that. You might as well know that if you're a new guy and you start with clunkers and you try to do this method what I'm doing, it's not going to go that well. And it took me years to figure this out. And even after years and years, I can't defy the physics. You're still going to need strong edges. I'm just getting lucky on some of these hits. Sometimes what I think is a weak edge turns out to be just barely strong enough. But it's getting narrow fast. But it's also thinning down somewhat. There is a slight gratification in the amount of thinning. Yeah. It's just very slight satisfaction and gratification in the thinning. I like this Coshocton though. I like it a lot. I like a material. Hey, Mikey, he likes it? Yeah. It's not like the black butter, but it can cooperate. It did it. Once in a while, it'll do it. Like, see that lump? Let's see. I took off a lump. Yes. It's so satisfying sometimes. Yeah. It's not. It can't always be fun, but sometimes it can be satisfying. See, it thinned that down quite a bit. I'm losing my voice. Oh no. How terrible. Good, he's losing his voice. Keep doing what you're doing, dude. What am I doing? I need to drink water. Yep. I just want a few more good flakes before I get some water, okay? Please. Just do it. Just give me a couple more good flakes. That's it. Now that I'm in the zone, there's a zone for Flintknapping. Oh, yes. There is a zone. And if you kick yourself out of the zone by not practicing for a week or two, you're going to be sorry. Yep. You got to nap a lot if you want the brain to keep up with it, because it's going to forget. It goes, I don't know what you were doing last week, but you're not doing it this week. Good, because you've just forgotten everything. And it'll do it. You don't even know. Your brain says, I'm going to make you forget what you learned last week, and I'm not even going to tell you. Just wait until you start again, and you'll find out. Yeah, the brain does that. It's a sneaky little thing. Trying to be nice. It will not tell you what it's doing. It's forgetting everything. Yeah. And some people, all they need is a couple days and they forget. Their brain is that sneaky. Yeah. It takes like 4 or 5 days for my brain to notice that I haven't been napping. And then it'll go over to the chalkboard and clean it up nice and pretty. Yeah. It thinks it's being helpful. My subconscious, it thinks it's being helpful by erasing everything on the chalkboard from the previous week, my napping chalkboard, and then it'll very neatly or very professionally clean down the chalkboard to pristine levels and go, look what I did. And I go back to napping and there's nothing. What did you do? I cleaned it. No, you didn't clean it. You erased it. Same thing. Oh my goodness, you're so stupid. The subconscious thinks cleaning and erasing is the same thing. Yeah. It's nice and clean now, right? I mean, you can't deny it's nice and clean. Yeah, it's nice and clean. It's all beautiful. But there's nothing there. I can't do nothing with nothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who are you talking to, man? There's people, right? There's people right there. You see it, right? That's who I'm talking to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm not paying attention. I'm just reading it. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, I gotta nap some insulators. I gotta get back into napping some glass. People are talking about that uranium glass. Every time I turn around, it's like, have you napped any of that uranium glass glow in the dark stuff? No. I don't even know if it's radioactive. If it is, I'm staying clear of that stuff. Yeah. I'm staying clear of that radioactive stuff. I'm sure it's not radioactive. So I'm kidding. Maybe I'll get some just so I can have a perspective on it. You ever napped that stuff before? Oh yeah. That stuff's easy peasy. Yeah. No problem. I mean, have you really napped it? No, not yet. So I want to get some of that so I can nap it. So at least I can say I've napped it, and then I'll tell people my experience, and they'll go, finally, you're saying something besides all you want to know is if it naps or not. You're finally describing it like you should, instead of trying to tell us that whatever it is doesn't matter as long as it naps. Don't like that advice. All right, I'll tell you my personal experiences, even though yours is probably going to be different. What? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Nope. Even though yours experience might not be the same. Aha. You're still saying that stupid stuff. Okay, I won't say it no more. Besides, uranium glass is probably the same for everybody, so it might be good. It might be good to talk about it in that kind of way. But this is an exception. You know, modern glass is very consistent. It's the exception to the rule of talking about materials. I don't usually like to talk about materials because they're not consistent if we're talking about natural stone, but glass, it's a man-made material, very consistent. It's made to engineering specs. It's engineered. Not like stone. Stone will kick your butt, man. Because it's not consistent and it drives me nuts. This way, this way, this way. See, on the edge, it's crushing like crazy. Look at that. It's so crushy. Is it breaking your heart, dude? Yeah, it's breaking my heart because it's crushing a lot. Look at that. I want to just get one of those grinders and smooth it out with a grinder. I don't like dealing with that stuff no more. You know you love it. No, I don't love it. Some people love it. Okay, that's some people. Some people say I love every minute of it. I love everything about it. Even the cracks. Oh, look, there's such nice cracks. Oh, let me see. They even smell good too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was gonna. Yeah. Never mind. I gotta watch what I say. I got no filter. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Saturday night, we're. I got an excuse. Goof around. This spot is not cooperating. It is continuing to crush no matter what I do. This spot right there, it's got. This is where it has some cortex, like this stuff here. It had some of that here. I think that's what's causing it to crush no matter what I do. It's a soft spot. Instead of being a concrete spot, it's extra soft. Instead of being extra hard right there. Okay. What am I going to do? I don't know. Yeah. That's the bane of flint nappers. When the spot is extra soft or extra hard. It throws a monkey wrench into everything, into the works. So it's just. Okay, I gotta. You can't see what I'm doing because I'm trying to use a light. Because I can't see. But I'm gonna have to pick at it little by little, and it's not pickable anymore. I've already picked at it so much that it's no longer pickable. Yeah, and that's a flint napping term. It's got to be pickable. It's so crushed that there's no spot on there that I can remove a flake. No. I got to take back that whole edge almost to a very narrow state. And I don't like it because it gets all wonky that way. Why does it get all wonky that way? It's just in this particular case, I've got to drop the edge down far, and it makes it wonky. I've got to raise it back up again eventually. I'm using a smaller diameter to see if I can get in there. But it's not cooperating. Even from the other side, it won't do it. I'm taking back the edge. I'm trying to drop the edge toward the obstacle also. So I'm hitting from all different areas. I tried to remove some flakes from the other side to see if I can go over that hump. It's not doing it because the edge is not strong enough for the long flakes of this thinness. At this stage, I can't take off big old honking thick flakes or big old chunky thick flakes. I gotta take off thin flakes, and they don't want to travel. Right? What's going on? What is going on? They don't want to travel in that certain area. Maybe I should go back to the thicker. No, let's try the. Okay, it did at least do something. Dang it. Oh, that went over a lot of that lump. Good. Just barely. But it is getting really narrow. But I am getting it to the point where it is now able to be made into something. The width to thickness ratio is still not that great. And there's no one strategy. Sometimes I can leave it wide and then get good results, but not in this case. And that's the same thing that happened with the Wonderstone. It got really, really, really narrow. And it could be my state of mind. See, this is starting to get more narrow than my usual. So it could be that I've regressed a little bit because I'm not feeling well. Although I'm not feeling that badly. I've napped under these conditions before. I just think the zucchini might be getting to me. And I added more into the soup. So it's going to hit me pretty good tonight, I bet you. I'm going to have a big bowl of soup. Yes, I am. I don't care. Yeah, but what about the auction? Oh, well. Yep. Too late. I've already got my ingredients set up for my soup. I'm not going to back off. Besides, it's already in the cooker. Yeah. I've already got it sitting there. Unless the skunkers, skunkers will eat it. Skunketeers will love it. Chicken soup with squash and zucchinis. They love it. What the heck is that in there? I got some defectoids in there. What is that? It's got stuff and inclusions right when I'm trying to thin it. It stopped the flake on this side. So what am I supposed to do, huh? I don't know. I have no ideas. It grinds down easily. I'm amazed how easy it grinds down. I mean, I could make a ground down Celt. Yeah. Or an X head of some sort with this stuff. I can chip it first and then grind it down. I can grind it down really fast with the abrader. It does grind down really fast. The only bad part is it removes a lot of edge. But it needs it. It's got to be strong because it'll crush. All right, let's see if this will work. Did it? Almost. Okay, yeah, it did. But I still got the inclusion syndrome. It goes all the way through. See, you don't see these until the very end. Typical. So I ran a flake from like down here, started there, went up, and it went beautifully, but then it encountered that inclusion. Right when it's not supposed to be showing its ugly face, it rears its ugly head during the thinning stage. What to do? What to do? I know. I'm going to say I love the whole process. I love the inclusions. I love the weak edges. I love having to grind the living bejesus out of it. And I love the wonkiness and the unpredictability. It's so much fun. Love it. I can't wait to notch it. I can't wait to notch it and sharpen it. And then maybe I'll put some wax on it. Yeah. I don't know. I saw some guys putting wax on their arrowheads at the Knapping. Mm-hmm. I don't do that. Never have, never will. I don't think I'll ever will put any wax or mineral oil or anything on my points. Nope, I don't do it, and I don't think I ever will. Did they used to do it back in the day? I think, yeah. They probably used to put some sort of stuff on the arrowheads to make them smoother, I would imagine. Animal fat or something? Maybe. Anything to make it smoother. They did not have wax. I know that sometimes the arrowheads were hafted with so much glue that the glue is up on the blade of the arrowhead. So that makes it smoother. Yeah, they would put the pine pitch or the asphaltum or the mixtures of the resins all the way up on the blade, and then it's half the way down here, but they put all that glue up on the blade on both sides. And in Europe, they did that especially with these finds that they're finding in the melted glaciers. These arrowheads are covered basically 90% of the surface of the arrowhead is covered with birch tar, as well as that whole hafting area. They're not this big, okay? I'm just illustrating. Imagine this half this size, and they would cover the whole thing in birch tar. Basically, it's all birch tarified. It's tarified? Yeah, it's tarified. Yeah. I don't know why they did it. Well, I'm thinking I know why. Because the smoother it is, the better. The better for killing. Yeah, we make things for to kill. That's what these are for. And also to process after. Yeah. For obtaining meat. These are meat obtainers. Yeah. Man, I thought these were for shadow boxes, and gifts and stuff. Well, yeah, nowadays that's what they're for. They're for shadow boxes and gifts. But they used to be made for gathering meat. Yeah. And for telling people you don't appreciate them stealing your stuff. Yeah. I don't appreciate you stealing my stuff. See, that's how you tell someone with one of these. I can't describe it because YouTube will give me a strike. Mm-hmm. YouTube says we don't advocate for that sort of thing. Okay, I know. I read the rules. That's why I demonetize my live streams. Just in case I say something. Yeah. You mean these are anti-theft devices? Yeah, because once you deal with the person, you get your stuff back. Yeah, once you tell them you hate what they stole or why they stole it, and not you hate what they stole, you hate that they are stealing it. I don't like you stealing it, and then you get it back after you tell them. All right, so that's it. I'm going to get back into the chat. Okay. Can you guess what it is? It's an anti-theft device. That's the theme of this particular napping session. All right. So it's Coshocton. And I'm shocked that the Coshocton actually napped. I was able to sneak up on it with a smaller diameter indirect percussion flaker and just slowly whittle it down in areas that were strong enough to support the flakes. It was tricky. Yeah. It's still a little bit thick, but I like it. All I need to do now is refine it and sharpen it. Refine it by removing the lumps. There's still lumps on it. I take the small diameter 5/16 inch tool and I can get in there. I don't have any major step fracturing going on. There's some inclusions, but they're not bad. I don't see any major interference with flaking. If it interferes majorly with the flaking, then you got problems. But I don't see. So overall, I can see good results from this. I can make lots of Madisons and Lavanas and stuff from the Northeast. Whatever is made from Coshocton. I gotta look in the book. What book is it, dude? You never show the book, except in all videos. Well, almost all videos. See, I can look in here, like it says the Northeast, right? This is one of the Northeast points. I wonder if any of these are made of Coshocton. A lot of these are made of Kanawha Black. This Prickyoomans, I bet you I'm saying that wrong. It says Jasper, variegated Jasper. I don't see any Kanawha Black, but I can imagine. No, I've seen color photographs of this stuff. Pennsylvania. Okay, Pennsylvania Jasper. All these are from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a monopoly on this. There's got to be some from New York. There's one from New Jersey. Where's the other ones? I thought these were from New York too, but there's no examples from New York. There's no Coshoctons in here. They're all Jaspers. Yeah. I was trying to make one of these at the nap, and that's why I have this page bookmarked. These are interesting. They're thin. No side views, though. That's the thing about this book that I don't like. Yeah. I don't like it. Anyways, I don't like that they're missing the side views. Okay, I'm going to get back to the chat. What did I miss? Anything? Mm-hmm. Did you guys solve the mystery of the universal heat treat temperature? No? Did you guys solve the mystery of what's the best flint knapping stone for beginners? Did you guys solve the mystery of where do you find the best stone? Who sells the best stone? For the lowest price forever. Did you guys solve the mystery yet? What is the best stone for beginners? I missed it. Some of you might say, you're asking the wrong question, dude, because it's not the best stone for beginners. It's what's the best glass. Maybe so. Maybe that's it. Maybe we're barking up the wrong tree. Maybe we should be telling beginners, you should be looking at glass. Be an expert at glass. As an example. I don't know. Because the glass will tell you if it's you that's messing up because it's consistent. It's not the material, because the material is always the same. And my glass is the same as your glass if we're drinking the same beers and all that stuff. Which reminds me, I gotta dump out the beer I started the other day. It's just been sitting open in the fridge. Anyway, your beer bottle glass is the same as my beer bottle glass. So if you're messing it up and you're doing it right, supposedly, it's you. And then you can fix it. Earl Snyder says, I believe Perkiomen points should be made of Coshocton because Kanawha Black is found close by. There you go. Someone knows, so I'm going to do it. Whatever's free is the best if you're a beginner. Yeah, that's what they usually say, but it's not true because that's the way I started. My free rock killed me until I learned how to heat treat it. Yeah. Jay says, if anyone can get Pennsylvania Jasper, email me. There's someone in here that can get it because I got some. I can't remember who sent it to me, but there's some people in the chat that have it or that can get it. Patrick Trousdale, glass is cheap or free? Yes, it is. And I'm thinking I should teach all beginners how to nap on glass. But I just hate teaching kids on glass because it's so dangerous for kids. I don't want anyone to poke their eye out at a young age. You can do it when you're an adult. Turn 18, poke your eyes out all you want. But before that, for teaching children how to flint nap, we got to probably stick with some nice stone material. Yeah. Anyways, Killer Cork's in the house. Joe Rodwald, hi. I haven't seen you before. Have I seen you before in the chat? I like Smallzilla's term of ditch obsidian. Yeah, glass is ditch obsidian. Is Smallzilla in the house? I don't see him. I need to get Smallzilla to make me a squirrel to put on this display. Yeah. But the goober squirrels don't come around anymore since I stopped putting bird feed out front. Yeah. Mike Mason says, it's been a while since I worked stone much. It is a conversation, a negotiation, if you will. Some people are great at talking to the rock into what they want. Okay, talking the rock into doing what they want. Okay. Yeah, I suppose so. Jay Valente says, I got flakes stuck in my neck yesterday. You're not napping with your teeth, are you? Mike Mason says, he said anti-theft, not self-defense. Self-defense weapon, says Ed. No, it's an anti-theft device. If you use it properly, you can get your stuff back. Yeah. Did I hear Louise meowing outside? That's the first time I've heard her actually meow outside the front door. Wow. Hey, someone, do I have a super chat for $5? Yes, Keith Ricketts. Hey. A colon really changes the meaning of a sentence. My marbles fell out of my pocket versus my marbles fell out of my colon. You gave me a super chat to say that. Thank you anyway. It's funny. Let's see. Okay, where am I on the chat? Mike Tuff says, whatever point I made was what the rock was willing to allow me to do. Now I'm feeling more confident to make it what I wanted. Okay. What brand of mink oil does Patrick put on his points? I don't put any oil on the points. Not even mink oil. Nope. Mike Tuff's Ken says, Mike, that's something I'm interested in as well. Do you use the Overstreet guide as reference or just decide on a point style beforehand? I have another super chat. Ed Gould, thank you very much. $5 super chat. No comment attached. You know, you can attach comments to the super chat, and I have to say it. Yeah, it's a requirement. I'm kidding, yes, but you know, I feel bad if I don't say the comment out loud if someone gives me a super chat. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Patrick says, "Yeah, I do whatever The Rock wants to give me." Also, yeah, that's the easiest way to go. I gave what The Rock wanted to give me as far as this goes. They wanted to. I mean, it allowed me to get something narrow and thick. It allowed me to do that, yeah. And sometimes the stone puts limits on you, so you can't do exactly what you want. But for the most part, it comes from your brain. The final result is actually what's in your brain, and it changes over time with the experience. And the stone, the more experience you get, the less input the stone has. Okay, you start listening to the stone less and less until it gets to the point where it hates you. All stones hate you because you're not listening to what they have to say as far as making your points to spec. You say to the stone, I'm going to make my point to spec, or I'm going to toss you out. It's either my way or the highway. And you talk to the rock like that. You go, it's either my way or the highway. What's your pick? We can break you right off the bat, and you can go to the highway right off the bat, or you can do it my way. Yeah. And then, you know, sometimes if you put up a lot of resistance, I'll just pound you into a pile of dust. Yeah. That's the way you talk to it. Okay. It doesn't care, really. Ralph says it's beautiful and is mine after Monday. You want that one? All right. I'll sharpen it up and make it a better anti-theft device. Where am I on the chat? Let's go to the end. That stone is like my wife, said Ralph. Don't let her watch the show then, because I say a lot of bad stuff about the stone. That's a moose sticker. Yeah. Yeah. Put it on the end of a stick and tell the moose its days have come to an end. I hate to do it, but it's the law of the West. How do I know? I don't know. Joe Rodewald. Anyone going to the Glass Butte the last weekend of September? I'm sure there's some in the chat that will be there. Let's see here. Ed Gould says it sounds like some anger management is necessary. Yeah, I'm going to manage to be very angry. I'm going to manage to be so angry that you'll just look at my stone anti-theft device and you'll give me my stuff back. That's all it takes. That's all it's going to take. Yeah. I'll manage the anger. Let's see. Bill Taylor says Alan Cole is going and I might. Talking about Glass Buttes. Oh, your wife is sleeping. Good. Yeah, we don't want any problems. I don't want to get you into any trouble. Yeah. Killer Cork says Danny Collins likes the mink oil. I guess I do too. I bought some. I'll use as inspiration to eventually make a point that's worthy of shining up. There you go. Mike Mason says, Patrick, email me Ralph's contact info. We agreed on it. Okay. I'll email a reminder. Okay, good. Otherwise, I'd have to take a picture or write it down or something. Okay, yeah. Email me a reminder to give you Ralph's email. I will do it. Ed Gould says, I told mine she needed a new birthday suit. Hers is all wrinkled. What is this freezing the point in blood? What does that mean? Ralph Snyder says, my wife likes the crafty live stream. Oh, dang. Supposedly, Bushy is watching the live stream with his wife, too. My wife had absolutely no interest in my Flintknapping other than, ooh, you made money on it? Yeah. I sold it. I sold all my stuff. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. But now when I sell my stuff, I get the proceeds. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. Not that I'm saying marriage is a bad thing. Just, there's just a lot less sharing going on, and I like it. Anyways, I'm going to end the chat here. Ed Gould says, my wife calls it the crappy live stream. That's funny. Yep. Okay. Jim says, good night. Good night, everybody. It's already 4 minutes past. We'll have somebody probably jump in and say, hey, I'm here. And I got to end the live stream. But yeah, I gotta go. I got nothing to do tonight except get ready for bed because I try to do some napping. I try to do some writing. I got my drawing stuff out. I can't do nothing. I mean, I can nap stuff like this. I can make bifaces. I might make some no, I don't feel like making bifaces tonight. Keep it going till 11, says Killer Cork. Yeah, I could, because what else am I going to do? I'm useless today. It's Saturday, though, man. Yeah. If I could figure out how to keep going without feeling worse, I got to drink water. No, I'm not going to. That's it. I can tell that I'm losing my ability to speak properly. I might say something I shouldn't say. I might not be able to control my anger. Martin Hill, Tar, Pat, and friends. Take a dose of that creatine. Yeah, I need to get some of that. I used to take some of that. What was I going to say? Oh, I used to drink the Monster drinks, and I was going to buy those things that truckers drink, the 12-hour shot of energy, 12-hour energy, I think it says on the side. I forget what they're called. I was tempted to do that back in the day, but never did it. I could do one of those right now if I had one. All right. The next live stream is Monday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. And you just ask Google, what time is it your time when it's 6 p.m. Eastern? Perry Goes Ken says, cheers. Cheers, everybody. Good night. Yep. Good night. We don't have any late night. We don't have any post-stream enterings into. We don't have anyone entering into the post live stream. So you guys were on time tonight. It's always funny to see the guy who comes in after it's supposed to be over and says, hey, how's it going, guys? Brand new day. All right. Good night, guys. I'll see you next time. Good to see everybody. Bye-bye.